Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Culture of Prayer. It's your girl, Mary Mac Pius. I'm just here live with my sisters. We're here today. I want to introduce to you April, and Dorcas, but I'm going to give them the floor to introduce themselves. Today is going to be a wonderful day. This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. So, I will give the floor to April. April, go ahead and just introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is April Roopa. I'm here with my sister Mary. She invited me today for a very good discussion that I think, is an area in life that we tend to overlook because it's so habitual. It's something we do all the time, something we've seen people before us do in our families and stuff like that. So it's almost like it becomes a habit, but we don't realize sometimes how these things are affecting our spiritual life. So I'm really excited to be here to just have this discussion, a girls' room, girls' chat
Yes.
discussion with my sisters, Dorcas and Mary today. So, yeah.
Let's go. Yes. So, and then we have our sister here, Dorcas.
Hey everyone, my name is Dorcas, and hey everyone, my name is Dorcas. In case you didn't hear me, I'm just thankful for being here. We're part of the culture of prayer, and we're here to just represent God and represent Jesus Christ. And I'm excited that we get to do that with you guys today. So, yeah, we're here.
Oh yes, and today's topic of discussion is in the culture of prayer, rather, is about generational curses. And one of the biggest thing that came to mind when we all came together to have this discussion was we need to talk to people out there. We need to share this and spread this because people need to hear that, people are struggling. There's so many myths that we listen to and we hear that aren't really true. And there's certain things that are true about generational curses. And I know so many people are struggling in marriages, relationships, families, all because of this. So we're coming together as a collective. We're known as the Culture of Prayer, TCOP. And we're here to represent Jesus, like she said. So let's go ahead and just get into discussion. And we're going to jump right into it, One of the biggest challenges people face in their life is having to look back. One of the things that God did speak to me about was having to look back so you can understand your future. You can understand your now, your today. And it's very important. There's so many things that our forefathers have done, our parents, they've done, that is affecting us today. It's really affecting us. It is affecting us. So it's very important that we discuss these things. But I'll start off with marriage. Generational curses. There's so many things that we do or our spouses do that is known as a generational curse, and it's affecting us today. So I want to open up the floor for you guys to kind of discuss what you think about this. April, when it comes down to generational curse in marriage, how do you see generational curse affecting a marriage?
So that's a good question. So honestly, there's like two sides to it. So there's the effect of, seeing what your parents have done in their marriage as an example, and sometimes portraying some of those behaviors in marriage. And then there's the aspect where you did not have an example and you're also portraying that type of behavior now in a situation that you're unfamiliar with. So there's really like two sides where this could come from. For me, I'm gonna speak on my side. I did have parents, who were married. And you do learn from what you see your parents do. That's like your first place. I think some of the few places that we first learn things from, it will be home and school.
Yes.
That's the two places that has the greatest influence on people when they are younger and growing up. Um, so for me, obviously, home, you would pick up and see how the interaction between, your parents are. And subliminally, you learn those things. You don't realize that you're learning it until now you were faced, you have been put in that situation of marriage, which I am in now, and you start portraying some of those, toxic behaviors or toxic traits that you didn't even realize was planted in you.
Mm,
And that's the things we look at, the things we observe, the things we watch, we don't even realize the seeds that it's planting in us sometimes until we are faced with something that brings it out. And then you're like, wait, I
mm,
have this trait. I act like this too. I didn't even know this.
mm.
So, for me, that's what I can see coming from the home, where you've seen that example is that you pick up things sometimes that you really don't know, that some some is obvious, but some are really, somewhere deep down inside and only gets triggered in certain circumstances. And that is when we realize, okay, we're carrying a particular trait that we have seen before. And these are the things we want to tackle, honestly. These are the things we need to be talking about because I think a lot of people just take it as, yeah, that's just me. Yeah, that's just how I
Exactly.
am. We always using that term. Yeah, that's just how I am.
Oh yeah.
That's how God made me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we like
That's
to
true.
bring God into it, right? You know how
That's true.
Christians roll. So
No.
yeah, and this is, we need to start really evaluating these things because sometimes we don't realize the effect it not only has on us,
Of
but
course.
the effect it has on others.
Oh
And
yeah.
then when we reach that topic of marriage later down in our whatever series we reach,
Oh my
I
God.
mean that's a whole other thing, right? And because marriage reveals a lot, right? But just carrying those things, carrying certain things and not knowing what you're carrying into it, it does cause a huge effect.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes, it does lead to divorce, unfortunately, because we don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to change it. We haven't built our relationship with God strong enough as yet to be able to, surrender it to Him.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and everything is a process, right? So
Of course.
that's just for me touching on that topic of
Man.
marriage and generational curses.
Marriage. Oh my God. Generational curses of marriage. What you said that stood out to me is the behavior, the characters that we picked up from our parents, even grandparents, siblings, and those around us, our environment. It does play a huge role because we are doing things that are affecting us and we don't even know. I mean, we got to unlearn so many things that are affecting our life. I mean, unlearn the things that are hurting us. I mean, I remember I think I talked about this in one of our group meetings about therapy. I started going to therapy, and there was something that the therapist had pointed out as I, began to speak. And she was just like, excuse me, just hold up a minute. Can we rewind back? You made mention of something. You need to forgive this person for what they did to you. And I'm just like, I don't even, I don't think it's affected me. I'm good. But then these things starts to show up in not just even marriage, but in relationships you have with other people. And it's affecting us. It's affecting everybody around you. I talked about this in one of our meetings as well, about how we go around hurting each other and we don't even see it because we're stuck in our own way. Like, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm supposed to be like this. This is how God made me, like you said. No, God didn't make you to be rude. God didn't make you to be envious. God didn't make you to be angry all the time. God didn't make you to have anxiety. God didn't make you to have depression. These are things we can control if we start to do the inner work. So these are
Amen.
things I really wanted us to discuss today because it's hurting us. We're hurt people. We are hurt. We are hurt and we're hurting people. Not just our spouses, but the children we have are picking up from the things that we're doing. It's affecting us. It's really affecting us. So I think we should really talk about this. Like, what are some things you feel like, you kind of picked up and you didn't realize? Whether it's from mom or dad, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
I can say that, since I am, the middle child, I get to see things from the outside looking in, right? And I have so many women around me. And most of these women usually get hurt by men, right? So because of their hurt, I feel like they projected their hurt onto me. And it made me view men differently. I'm not married yet, right? But I am married to Jesus Christ, period.
Right,
You know what I'm
period.
saying? So yeah, same thing. But I kind of feel like I kind of picked up trust issues. I don't know how to see men with clear eyes anymore, right? But that's something God is working on in me. So I feel like these generational curses really can be picked up, and especially from society. We really have to be careful what we open ourselves up to, right? So, culture. On social media, there's a whole bunch of stuff about relationships, about how a man should treat you, whether this is right, this is a red flag or a green flag, all that type of stuff. Right. And it's kind of like, where does it say this in the Bible?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is not biblical. Like, this is not the way God created us to be. This is not how God views marriage. Okay, culture views marriage as something like, just you having companionship, you guys building an empire together. But it's more than that. It's so much deeper than that. And, it's a work in progress. Like you said, it's progress.
It's so deep, guys. Like, when I tell you these are some good points. Culture views marriage differently. Everything that we have picked up on social media is a lie.
We gonna talk about social media.
We gonna talk about it.
We have so many topics I think is gonna be so beneficial.
Yeah.
We gonna talk about that. But honestly,
God.
It's just hearing, what Dorcas just said, specifically about the fact that she, may not have had interaction with men, but was able to form an impression of them through what she has seen. Like, we don't realize the examples we set, as parents, as family members, as friends, people of society. When we carry on and behave in a particular way and say, yeah, that's just me and just accept it, however, we don't realize the effect it is having on someone else. Yeah, it may be affecting us, or it may not, because we try not to let it to, because a lot of us just pretend like things don't affect us, but it does.
It does.
It shows up. It just shows up when it's triggered.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, it just shows up all the time. You're like, yeah, I'm a forgiving person, like nothing but nobody does bother me. And then one day they do something that really rubs you wrong. And then you realize, okay, I ain't all that forgiven, right?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so what I'm saying too is we don't realize how our behavior, the things we say, the things we do, how much it affects other people. It affects us, but also it affects everybody that you interact with. And that's why it's important for us to explore these points, talk about these things, open up, be real with ourselves. Take a trip down memory lane. Look at our past, see what are certain things that we've realized, we've picked up, and then seek God on ways to how to correct it. Because really and truly, He has the answers to everything, right?
Yeah.
And He's the only one who can lead us in the direction of where we can get that healing in that area.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't be real with you, about you, He can't touch that area.
You can't
He's
be
not a God, right? He's not a God who's gonna force himself in and be like, hey, you have to change this, do it. No, He's gonna wait.
Oh, yeah.
As Dorcas is always say, He's a gentleman. He's gonna wait, right? He's gonna wait, right?
Okay.
He gave us choice. He gave us choice, and that's because He never wanted to force His way on us. So He's gonna wait until you are ready to deal with it. Because He knows when you have a closed mind about something, and we know this, if somebody has a closed mind, it doesn't matter what you tell them, they're gonna stick to what they know.
I'm telling you.
It's only when they open their mind.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, April, speaking of the mind, every pastor that has ever preached on a platform has always talked about the mind. and how it affects you. The reason people are stuck, like I said, if you're stuck in your own way, is because of the way you think. If you just open yourself up to receive, you will realize it's not even supposed to be like that. We watched a movie last night, right? About a guy, I think he had kidney problem or something. He will never come out of his room. Never come out of his room. Never come out of his shell. But a girl came out of nowhere and she put her foot down. She said, you are going to eat this food. You're going to come out of this room and you're going to go. Yes, sometimes we need that support. But what if that support isn't there? Then turn to God, because the support is always there. But you just have to learn. And I know so many people don't even know who God really is.
True.
They don't know. They don't know who God is. You don't know who God is because society said that God is so. You got to dress this way to be a child of God. You got to look this way. You got to have this. You got to have the nicest this. Or you know, as Christians, they try to portray us as these people who are trying so hard to be perfect. Whereas we are all, like, literally, we're all the same people. We're broken. We're all broken. We're all broken. We're just trying. We just have this outer layer. Some people make it look really good. You know, people make things look really good. However, we're all broken on the inside. And that's the thing people need to realize. You got to just try your best to come out of your shell. Jesus don't hurt nobody. Jesus will leave all the Christians just to come after the one person who don't get it. That's why you say he left the 99, right? To come after the one. Because you are not perfect. And even when Jesus, I remember April is the Bible study teacher. We were learning in Mark chapter 10. No, it wasn't chapter 10, sorry. I'm stuck in chapter 10 because I love that whole chapter. But I remember in the Bible, it was in Mark where we read, I think it was either 4 or 5 between the two. And I remember we talked about how Jesus came out of his shell. He got mad. You know, our Father came, he was mad. And he came out of his shell. Like, y'all don't even know what y'all doing. The old ways of doing things is just following the laws. The Pharisees made all those things. It's religion. Yep. Jesus is not after all that. All this makeup, hair, all this nice ride, the nicest car, vanity upon vanity. You will lose it one day, whether you like it or not, because you got to die. You know what I mean? Sorry to say that, but you got to die. We all got to go one day. So all those things don't matter. What God is really after is your heart. Your heart, my heart. And what that means is just do good. Do good. Love on people. What is love? Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. You know, like, go read the Bible and you will see everything that you need to do in order for you to walk in the way of Christ is written in that word, in the scripture. But it just takes you having to just step out of your shell. And you know, going back to generational curses, so many of our parents never knew Christ. They didn't know God. And so how are they going to teach that to you if they didn't know? And it hurts that this is what society is.
And if I might add, I feel like, you know, so many of our parents were so stuck in religion that they didn't have a true relationship with God, so they couldn't teach you properly. That's why whenever they forced you to church, you weren't for it. Because it's just like we're in this constant routine, and I'm just not getting what you're teaching me. I'm not getting what you're putting down. And it's like, forget about religion, forget about the rules, and learn to seek God for yourself. Right. What does he have to say to you specifically? Because trust and believe he speaks. Okay? My baby boo, he speaks straight. Okay? So honestly, like she said, we're all broken people. We just found someone who could bring us back to life. We found somebody who could bring us true joy, not happiness. Because happiness is circumstantial, right? It's fleeting. It comes and it goes. But we found somebody that can bring us true joy. No matter what we're facing, we can still be happy. No matter what storm, no matter what obstacle we're going through, we can still find peace in it. And Jesus Christ brought that to us. That's why we're repping him so hard. So you can also know that you can find that peace too. It's available to you. You just have to believe. Just have to believe.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I mean, like, I know a lot of people, and I know we're gonna have, mixed viewers on here, right? And, for anybody who does not know about Jesus, who does not understand, what this is about and stuff like that, we want to encourage you not to go to anybody specifically, but just say a prayer to him. Even if you're not sure how to pray, just talk, because he listens. As long as he knows earnestly in your heart that you really want to know what this is about, you want to know what he is about, what God represents, what God wants for us. Just have a conversation. Just be like, God, you're there. I've heard about you. I'm not sure what you represent, but I do want to know you. And I promise you, he is going to speak to you, whether it's in a dream, whether it's in a vision, whether it's through somebody he sent to come to give you a message. Whatever it is, and what I want to say here is, don't put an expectation on how you think God is going to show up or talk to you. Because we're going to address that. So there's a lot of things, but just don't put an expectation on how you think God is going to show up to you. Just allow him to do it in whatever way. Say, God, have your way. And just keep your mind open onto how he can show up to you. Because a lot of people have been taught in the past, and I think our parents too, is that you have to come a particular way or be a particular way before you could hear or be qualified to talk to God. We have to get our life right. We can't do that on our own. We are human beings, and human beings are imperfect. We have to come to the person, the source of where our healing, our help, our comfort, our miracles, everything, gifts, the fruits of the Spirit, everything lies within God. So we have to come to him first, and he is the one who's going to help us. That's why some of our lives keep going the same way over and over and over and over and over. Is because sometimes we're not connected to the source that can actually help us. And that source is God.
Honestly.
Like, it really is God. We could sit down here and give you all testimonies and testimonies about things that has happened in our life. Which we will eventually, right? Because we know that, a testimony could go a very long way. God told us to go out and share our testimonies with people, because that's how people can relate with you, is when they see that you are going through similar things to them. Although they may be a Christian and they may be a non-believer. At least they could see, if they could relate to a story that, that could give them hope that, okay, wow, she's a Christian and she experiences too. Okay, let me see. It can pique people's interest in what this God thing is about.
It's huge.
So I just want to encourage us, listen, for those who haven't known God as yet, just and you want to know him, just have a conversation. Just talk like if you're talking to a friend. Hey, God, you don't have to put it in no perfect sentence or whatever. Just come and say what you want to say.
No shit, ba 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 ba. No that.
Nothing. You ain't gotta do nothing. Just talk.
And I think a lot of people are intimidated by that, April. They are, because I'll say this. When I began praying one time, I think you all know this. Somebody said to me, "Your prayers are intimidating."